Okay. Anyways, here we go. After I hit the video thing up.
It's time for a ventriloquist who's bringing the 80s B-horror movie energy. Get ready for a ventriloquist who puppets her parents' corpses with telekinesis and named her dummy after her dead twin brother. And the dummy is constantly flirting with her. It's about to be a time. I'm Spencer, this is Casually Comics, and we're going to be taking a look at the third ventriloquist, Shauna Belzer. Time of recording, we had recently looked at the second ventriloquist, and the first female ventriloquist, Peyton Riley, who, while she had a distinct backstory, had a relationship with the ventriloquist mantle that was far more reminiscent of the original Arnold Wesker. She even had his dummy. With this version, we're going to go in a bit of a different direction, and we're also heading to a different era. Arnold and Peyton are both post-crisis characters. With Arnold, we're dealing with post-Crisis on Infinite Earths from 1985, whereas Peyton, it's post-that and post-Infinite Crisis, which undid a lot of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. The point is they're in the same timeline. But for Shauna, we need to go to the New 52, an era that's come up a decent amount on this channel. It was the line-wide reboot of DC Comics from 2011. During this, much of the legacy character development was cast aside. So it is that when this ventriloquist appears in Batgirl 20, the Batgirl in question is Barbara Gordon, and not Stephanie or Cassandra. Stephanie Brown had been the Batgirl who had had an ongoing series prior to this. It was stopped because of the reboot. We did a whole retrospective on it. It was a decent and solid series. But with the New 52, Stephanie Brown didn't even exist in that continuity for a while. There was an outcry and kerfuffle about it. It was a thing. When Batgirl relaunched in 2011, the Batgirl was Barbara Gordon, and the book was helmed by Gail Simone. Our ventriloquist appeared in the year 2013 in the story A Splinter Where My Heart Should Be. It was written, as mentioned, by Simone, color by Daniel Sempere, and Carlos Rodriguez. Inks were by Jonathan Glabian and Vicente Cifuentes. Colors by Blonde. This character is the focus of this issue, and she gets to be the focus of the cover as well. This image that's there very much sets the tone for how she will be portrayed. Gory, unsettling, there's blood everywhere, she looks corpse-like. There's the tagline, she gives a voice to death. You can hear the screams and envision the 80s freeze frame that would be around if they did a trailer for this. The start of this issue goes back 9 years ago to Shauna as a child. We see that she has always been an outsider and that she's being mocked for her appearance and perhaps social status because she's being called Shabby Shauna. The performer at the birthday party she's attending, because that girl was forced to invite her, takes a bit of pity on her and wants to cheer her up. Shabby Shauna, Shabby Shauna. Bummer, man. Hey, don't be sad, little girl. I know something that'll cheer you up. I'm going to be doing my magic act in just a minute. Don't let Rainbow Rodney fool you, kiddo. I do all the real work. Come on, turn that frown upside down, okay? Now, at first, this may seem like it's an attempt to build sympathy for Shauna. Look, she was always ostracized and othered, and it warped her. But instead, this is here to establish the always a monster narrative. Because Shauna takes the advice of, yeah, she should do something to turn that frown upside down. What would make her happy? What would make her happy is poisoning all of the children at the birthday party, potentially fatally. They leave it kind of up in the air. Will they get better? Maybe. She also murders the entertainer who is trying to cheer her up and steals his dummy. The dummy she names Ferdy. Sorry, honey, we didn't know you'd leave early. How was the party, Shauna? Did you have fun? I guess. All the girls got real sick for some reason. Are they going to be all right? I don't know. I guess. I got this thing. His name is Ferdy. How'd you get Ferdy, sweetheart? Rainbow Rodney gave him to me. I asked nicely. Is that juice on his face, darling? I don't know. I guess. This brings us to the present, where Shauna is now auditioning for Gotham's Got Talent. So we're going to get some reality show jokes and digs in there as well. As we see her, we see she's growing up to have a very Samara Ring Girl look. And she spiked the dummy's hair. The routine they perform is crass. The dummy has a thing for sex jokes, and that's just a recurring thing throughout all of the appearances. Ugh, stop. That's enough. More than enough.
I think she has some... Oh yeah, it does reveal that she did kill her brother when they were both children. But why would you name a dummy after your brother and then make it constantly just say sex jokes? I get it's 2013 during when this comic was made, so they did some weird shit.
Maybe your brother raped her?
They were the same age, both children.
Maybe he still raped her.
Or maybe she's just weird.
Sweetie, I love your energy, but I just don't think this competition is for you. Now her I like. How do you feel about furniture polish, baby? You could give me a sandpapering I'll never forget. I'm sorry, Miss Savia. Can we start over? I know I can be like the biggest star ever. Shauna can take everything that the Simon Cowell stand-in judge is throwing her way, except when he says that he saw her lips move. That's beyond the pale. She's a professional. What did you just say to me? Ferdy says no hard feelings, Mr. Quentin. He wants to give you a hug. See, now that ain't so bad. We're almost swell pals here. Hey, do me a favor. Watch and see if her lips move when I do this. What? Look, it's the Puppet Master drill hands. For those who have not seen the B-grade level horror of the Puppet Master, it's worth your time if you like that kind of thing, except that puppet had a drill head. Shauna is very much meant to look unsettling. She has a lot of things that are just associated with horror tropes, from being very waifish, gaunt, the color of her skin being so gray, the long disheveled hair that's blocking her face so you can't fully see her features all the time. It certainly gets the point across, but miles will vary on whether it's a bit too much or not. Get away! I know what it is. You're all jealous. What the hell? You killed.
You see how I told you that they basically just gave her the name? I'm like, you could have called her the Puppet Carver. Or something like that. Not the ventriloquist. Because this ain't the ventriloquist. One, that's a fucking puppet. You can clearly tell, but it ain't really a ventriloquist dummy. Okay, it looks like Slappy, which is worse. And two, it's not the ventriloquist. Two, again, you should have just called her the Puppet Carver. Why can't I think of better villain names?
Puppeteers are still considered ventriloquists, right?
I know, but why can't I think of better villain names than the people who make the comics?
I don't know. Come on.
You should have just.
My eyes.
You should have just called her the Puppet Carver. Not the ventriloquist. If you wanted a female one, you should have just made Peyton Raleigh again.
You're gonna take me a nap for a couple hours.
Did I? I was sure I saw his lips move. Shauna kidnaps the female judge on the panel, which is what brings her into conflict with Batgirl. Batgirl is going through it at this time in her series because she killed her brother, James Jr., with a batarang. She's going through a whole I don't deserve to wear this symbol, so she tore the bat symbol off her costume. It's in this encounter with Batgirl and the dummy that we see it go full Slappy or Chucky or various other dolls that move of their own volition. Her telekinesis is also fully unveiled in this sequence, though it had been building throughout the issue. He also tries to take her eyes out. It's a thing. Ferdy's trying to take eyes, or Shauna through Ferdy wants your eyes. Why? Just because they don't fully establish why. Lots of things with Shauna, they're just there because they're horrific and grotesque. It's not like she's taking the eyes because she doesn't want to be seen or because they don't deserve to look at her or anything like that. It's just, look, scary eye drill. A meaning could be inferred, but it's not explored in the text, though some may feel it doesn't need to be. The doll is also going to have lots of innuendo towards Batgirl, ranging in levels of aggressive, from creepy to full-blown rape threats. Hey, we could have been doing a whole nother kind of drilling if you wasn't such a fuss-budget brat girl. This thing is pure nightmare fuel. While in past ventriloquists in the DC universe, this may have been a moment to ponder the psyche of the main party controlling the doll, here Shauna has already been established as bored in bed, and all of the imagery and the presentation is so over the top, it shies away from that more psychological read. Although one could still do it, because there are things here that one could think about. Shauna escapes Batgirl and takes her hostage home, where we see that her parents are there, and they're dead, and they're corpses, and they're made up to look like party clowns, or rather doll-like, because they have the same markings as the dummy. You could read this as her viewing people as puppets to control. Her motivation, such as it is vaguely presented as wanting to be famous, seemingly wanting to be seen. Not understood, seen. A modern horror film has a lot of the same energy that I kept thinking of while looking at these scenes specifically as Pearl. I'm so happy you're home. You gotta put some red on the linen, Shauna. Spill some meat, make it memorable. You're right, darling. You're always right. And I know just who to kill to make the news. Oh, you don't mean the Cape Girl with the excellent rack, do you? Yes. The little bat strumpet who tried to take you from me? That should get us some ink. With this setup, we go into issue 21, which will conclude Shauna's first little story arc. This issue also has a great cover, although in a very different style.
Rack.
But once more, both doll
that
and owner are
the
horrific.
Fucking suit.
We'll
talk about the man. She could have made it that way.
Killer, Shauna. She ain't a bad looker.
Talk about the man who added nipples into his back
and like hate to mess up all that good surgery. You wouldn't freak. You think she's prettier than me? Oh, no, baby. You got me all wrong, Dollface. Prove it. This issue has a different artist than Fernando Pesserin, but the aesthetic of Shauna and the dummy matching and creep level is maintained. Although Shauna now looks more unhealthy and less corpse-like. The atmosphere in the house for the showdown is very good. They maintain the darkness, the murkiness of the shadows. It's just, you can start to feel the other things, the other senses. It's visceral. When they show all the dirty plates and just how decayed it is, you can almost smell it. This whole issue is very atmospheric. If they wanted to do some kind of scary Halloween horror episode, this would be a strong contender of an issue to pick. I've been in this house just under a minute, and there's already 2 corpses. Yep, dead as doorknobs. That explains what happened to her parents. Good Lord. She's a fan of murder. So here we have further evidence that Shauna just likes to hurt people. She then proceeds to puppet her parents' corpses, who are spouting off about how talented she is. Now she's gonna be a star. She's had professional headshots taken, you know. She won't do nudity unless it's absolutely essential to the story, but it's not a deal breaker. Shauna's still out there. She's got powers, don't know her limits yet, and she's the most talented ventriloquist and mimic I've ever witnessed. A girl who would use her parents like this. Her own family. Hot dog, it's that adorable little red-headed slice of cherry pie. Time to work your magic, Ferdy boy. There are a lot of lines in these that hint towards Shauna's uncomfortable relationship with sex or how her body is viewed, but it feels more like they're there for shock value or dark humor rather than as an in-depth look at the character's inner workings. There's also her issues with